Good evening and welcome to the November 25th meeting of Council. This meeting is being live streamed on the Town of Kemptville's YouTube channel. I call this meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in the Mi'kma'ki, the unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by treaties of peace and friendship, which was signed in 1726. We are all treaty people. We also acknowledge that people of African descent that have been in Nova Scotia for over 400 years, and we honor and offer gratitude to those ancestors of African descent who came before us to this land. We also have 2 sign language interpreters here tonight, and the video for this meeting is available with closed captions. The chair notes that we do have quorum. Are there any conflict of interest to report tonight? There's none, okay. CAO, we've been provided with a proposed agenda. Are there any changes to this agenda?
Yes, there is, Your Worship. I think my mic's on.
Oh. You're on.
Under 9, in the in-camera session, if we could replace 9A land with 9A labor,
Okay,
that is the one change.
okay. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Okay, there being none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Deputy Mayor Kroll, seconded by Councillor Savage. I take that deputy part off, right? Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your hands. Those opposed? Okay, motion is passed. We have a series of minutes from the October 1st council meeting and special council meeting of November 6th. If there are no changes to those meetings, they will be accepted and filed in our electronic meeting file as presented. Are there any changes? Okay. Minutes are recorded. We're now going to move into our recommendations and reports. So our first recommendation at the November 12th, 2024 meeting of Council Advisory Committee, Director of Engineering and Public Works presented a capital equipment purchase request for a street sweeper for delivery in summer of 2025. This is a replacement of an existing vehicle which has reached the end of its life. So the motion would be that Council approve the purchase of a replacement 2025 street sweeper and hydrovac excavation truck for the purchase of $496,000, including non-recoverable HST. Somebody could move that? Councillor Andrew, and seconded by Councillor Savage. Is there any discussion on this? You ready for the question? We'll just wait for. Okay, we'll just take a quick second. So. I don't know how to use this technology here, so I can't go to the next step. Or you know what? We could do it manually, I guess. Should we wait? We'll wait and record it electronically. You're fast. All right. So the motion would be that Council approve the purchase of a replacement 2025 street sweeper and hydrovac excavation truck for the purchase of $496,000, including non-recoverable HST. Voting is now open. And voting is now closed. Motion has passed. Our next recommendation is the repeal of Policy Statement G16, Code of Conduct. At the November 12th, 2024 meeting of Council Advisory Committee, Strategic Operations Coordinator Alicia Christie reviewed the development of the Code of Conduct regulation for municipal elected officials and the process of adoption that has been mandated by the province. The motion would be that Council direct staff to provide a report on the recommended changes to Policy Statement G57, Committees of Council. If somebody could move that. Councillor Maxwell and Councillor Savage as a second. Is there any discussion on that? That council directs staff to provide a report on the recommended changes to policy statement G57, Committees of Council. Voting is now opened. And voting is now closed. Motion passed. The next one is that council repeal policy statement G16, Code of Conduct for elected officials. If somebody could move that. And Councillor Andrew. Councillor Maxwell for a first and Councillor Andrew for a second. Any discussion on that? Ready for the question? That council repeal policy statement G16, Code of Conduct for elected officials. Voting is now opened. Voting is now closed. Our next item is the recommendation to, where are we here? The Code of Conduct for elected officials for the town of Kentville. So this recommendation is that council adopt the Code of Conduct as provided in the MGA with the following resolution. Whereas the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing for the province of Nova Scotia has made the Code of Conduct for municipal elected officials regulations, Nova Scotia Regulation 220-2024, the regulations, and whereas municipalities are required to adopt the model code of conduct prescribed by the regulations on or before December 19th, 2024, pursuant to Section 4.1 of the regulations and Section 23A of the Municipal Government Act. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Kentville hereby adopt the model code of conduct as set forth in Schedule A to the regulations, which shall be titled the Code of Conduct for elected officials of the Town of Kentville. Somebody could move that. Councillor Savage, and a second, Deputy Mayor Kroll. Is there any discussion on that? There being none, are you ready for the question? Yes, sorry, hold on. Oh, sorry.
No.
Councillor Andrew.
Just page 10, it says Chief Administrative Officer Mark Phillips. Should that be updated?
That would be
Okay.
changed, unless you want to change your name. Not yet?
No, there's only one Mark Phillips, and you all know him well, so I'll stick with
Okay.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Actually, CEO, I have one question. In that code of conduct, are we supposed to have an investigator hired now and advertised on our website? That's the way.
No, we've been working with municipal affairs to make sure that we do that properly. and
Okay,
that we use the
gotcha.
right criteria.
Okay, as usual, their language is sometimes not crystal clear, right? So,
The deputy clerk and strategic initiatives coordinator has been in contact
Okay.
with our municipal advisor.
okay, all right, thank you for that. Okay, so the motion would be that the Town of Kentville, Council of the Town of Kentville hereby adopt the model code of conduct as set forth in Schedule A to the regulations, which shall be titled the Code of Conduct for elected officials at the Town of Kentville. And voting is now open. Voting is now closed. Motion passed. Okay, climate ready plans and process grant application. At the November 12th, 2024 meeting of Council Advisory Committee, Strategic Operations Coordinator Alicia Christie reviewed the grant opportunity by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund to develop a climate ready plans and practices. Ms. Christie described the grant request for a one-year term position to focus on integrated climate planning across all departments. The motion would read that council approve the submission of a funding application to the Green Municipal Fund to support a term staff position in the development of a climate-ready plan for the town of Kentville. Somebody could move that. Councillor Maxwell, and a second, Councillor Andrew. Is there any discussion on that? Councillor Savage.
Thank you, Mayor. So it talks there about depending on the final grant contributions from CRPP, we would be expected to contribute between 14 to 20,000 in match funding, 20% of the total funding, which would be finalized in the ensuing budget. So I guess, so I have a couple of questions around that. Where would those funds come from? I'm sure there's a reserve somewhere, but would the expectation that once we have the funding in place or the grant in place for that position, is that a position that would continue on? Do you see it? And probably through the chair to the CEO.
Sure.
It is not our position at the current time that it would carry on. There's nothing that says once you've evaluated the base of the work for a year, that council wouldn't approve a continuation of the position.
And to follow up, so the position will be, it's actually a full-time position
Yes, for 1 year term.
for a one-year term, and those funds would come from
They
the
would-
matching?
They would be part of the upcoming budget. So 80% would be grant and 20% would be be determined at budget time, whether it will come out of reserves or whether it will come out of the revenues for that year would be determined at budget time.
Oh, sorry, I'll hone in a little bit more. Under what department do you suspect the funds would come from? Or would it be under a certain department? Sorry, I'm getting granular. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
We have had some discussions about how this position would be housed, managed, mentored.
Okay.
Because it's an interdepartmental role that touches every department, it would likely be in the admin department with the CAO, the deputy clerk, myself, and the strategic initiatives coordinator for that
Okay.
one term. If it turned into something more long-term, we would have to assess how it would be a more permanent structure in the
Okay.
organization. Is that fair to say?
It is.
Yep, that's great, very helpful, thank you.
Councillor Andrew.
I just turned off my button.
Oh.
Councillor Savage actually asked, she was thorough in her questioning, so thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay. So the motion is the council approve the submission of a funding application to the Green Municipal Fund to support a term staff position and the development of a climate-ready plan for the town of Kentville. Voting is now open.
Doing this so fast, I can't keep up.
Voting is now closed and the motion has passed. Those are done. We're now going to move into council reports. We're going to start with you, Councillor Andrew. If you want to highlight your
Okay.
activities.
Thank you. Obviously, these are going to be quicker than usual tonight. I, first of all, just want to say thank you, and I know I'm not the only one who will say such things, but it is an honor to have been elected to serve on Kentville's
Oh, there we go.
town council once again. And so I appreciate that privilege, and I think we're all looking forward to working together as a team for the benefit of our town. So I wrote here, it's been a great opportunity. I have the perspective of having been elected in 2016 and again now, and the amount of training and direction that's been provided by officials within our town, as well as through municipal affairs, has been fantastic. I feel like my education level has grown. Do you want me to share a few of the things that happened, or do you want me just to defer to, that people can look at it if they wish?
Yeah, if there's anything there, like, you know, that you want to report, but.
Yeah, lots of, I mean, for a lot of us the last while, you know, we had the pre-election thing where a lot of us were out talking to people and knocking on doors. The swearing in of a new council and having family and friends present was quite a thing. Remembrance Day ceremony was the first time I'd been at a Remembrance Day ceremony hosted by students at NECAC in conjunction with members of the Canning Area Legion. That was quite something. And back to training, We had Lorenzo Catarini did, oh, sorry, no, that was the Mountain Bike Association. Who was the facilitator of our training we had here, our code of conduct?
Louis.
Louis Coutinho.
Okay, yeah, Louis. That was definitely a highlight. Everything else, I guess, is pretty straightforward. You can read it in the report. And there've been no meetings yet, so I've attended everything I was required to attend.
Thank you. Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mayor. I put forward, and I apologize to those who have downloaded the meeting documents ahead of my submission. I was delayed in getting my report in. And when I wrote this, I wrote it for somebody who might read it, who would be more interested in my takeaways and my learning than maybe what I attended. Yes, I've attended the fantastic orientation that the town of Kentville's put on, which really makes a difference, I guess, in what previous councils have experienced, so that's fantastic. I attended, if you have a chance to download it from the meeting documents, I attended the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities New Council Orientation in Halifax, and there were a lot of things that I learned there as a new councillor. Things like democracy's not easy. It's hard, it can be messy. And one of the failures, one of my learning experiences this time around was asking a director for information about a particular project, which I now know that I must refer to the CAO and copy everyone here. New experience for me, so yes, I am learning. There's lots there if anybody wants to take a look. I guess the last thing I would have to offer is what do we get out of sending councillors to conferences, which seemed to be a discussion during the campaign. And what I did was I itemized the people that I had more than a 2-minute conversation with, particularly the Deputy Mayor of Kings County, and a number of other people across the province. So when we worry about benefits of networking, because marketing is often a soft benefit, it's right there. And so we can see who I've been in contact with, and I'm planning on attending the conference along with some of my colleagues here at the, beginning tomorrow night, which is a 3-day event for the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. I hope to get some more learning out of that around our energy future, policing models, rethinking the impact of disasters and creating resilience within our community, and advancing equity and dismantling racism and hate. So those are the things that I'm looking forward to and that I've taken away. I'm not perfect at this, and I admit it, and I'm learning lots. And I thank staff and council for great learning opportunities and lots of patience.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Kroll.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. This is the first report after the swearing-in and post-election. It's been a very busy month with orientation to council processes. I've attended several departmental updates with staff, the CAO and council, and I've attended several meetings and events, as I've noted below in my report. I was honored to be elected the deputy mayor by council at the swearing-in ceremony, so I'm very honored to hold this position for the next year. And I want to thank the CAO, the deputy clerk, and all the staff for their warm welcome and guidance over the past month. I sit ex officio on the Kentville Business Community Board. I was at their meeting held on November the 12th. The key agenda items are listed in my report. They talked about the mural update, the holidays, and their strategic plans for the future. The holidays events, which happened over the weekend, sadly with the pouring rain, but we had a great time, even though we were soaking wet, was probably the focus of that particular meeting, and it was a jam-packed event anyway. I hope I know that many people who were downtown had a great time, even though we were all carrying umbrellas. You can see with the events and the meetings that I've attended. I'll highlight the Kentville Historical Society held a volunteer celebration on November the 2nd. That was a great thing to go to and see the volunteers that work with that particular group. And the holidays was basically the event for this weekend for me. And you can see the training and development I've listed and who spoke and what we learned over the past month. So that's my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton.
So it's been a busy couple weeks since the election. There's been a lot of community engagement, town orientations, and professional development. I want to thank Deputy Clerk Jennifer West and CAO Jeff Lawrence for their support and their direction through the transition, and a special thank you to the town staff for all their hard work on all the recent events and putting everything together. It's been busy there. I'm going to put all my social media, or all my events on social media, but I did go into the report with what was there. Pretty much the same things that everybody else has spoke about, but it's just been a great learning curve, and I look forward to learning some more as we get through the rest of the sessions. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Councillor Maxwell.
Thank you. Highlights from my last report. Last time I gave a report, I've run for re-election, and the citizens have once again placed their trust in me, and I thank you for that. I also offered to attend the Annapolis Valley Trails Coalition AGM, as it was held just after the election but before the swearing in. So I will do a report on that. I've listed my events and meetings, most of them through the election period there. A couple of highlights are the fantastic breakfast that we have going on in our town on a regular basis. The Lions breakfast and the Anglican Church breakfast are amazing, and if citizens haven't been out to those two things, they really should. I also attended the Kentville Police Service Long Service Awards, which happened during that election time frame. And the NECEC Meet the Students event, candidates event, was really nice to get back into the school and see the students. And I believe almost all the high schools are doing this type of thing now, so I think that's wonderful. Training and development, I did the orientation to municipal government, as most people did, and I did the introduction to Parks and Recreation and intro to Public Works. The Annapolis Valley Trails Coalition AGM was held on October 24th at the Kings County Municipal Office. The AGM was very well attended, as the financing of the coalition is still up in the air, and municipal partners as well as the trail groups were very interested in the direction that the coalition was taking. After the AGM, a board meeting was held where longtime chair Beth Patilio stepped down. Partners were informed that funding isn't a problem right now as the coalition moves forward. There are also several options for moving forward that will be looked at during the upcoming meetings. Ashley at the County of Kings will assume the administrative burden for the coalition. As the group meets going forward, a chair and a member at large will need to be found, and they will have to look at the hiring of a part-time trail coordinator. I asked what role they see Kentville playing in the future of the coalition, since we do all our own trail maintenance. The entire coalition was unanimous in wanting Kentville to still be a partner, and they pointed out that having the Harvest Moon Trail run through Kings County and beyond, and imagining a gap in the middle was not advantageous for anyone. They also suggested that we would continue to benefit from the trail through advertising of the trail as a tourist destination through the various tourism partners and on the trail website. For these reasons, I highly recommend Council continue to be involved with the Annapolis Valley Trail Coalition, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Maxwell. Councillor Savage.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is my first meeting since being re-elected. I had to unfortunately send regrets to the first CAC meeting, and so I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank the citizens of Kentville for re-electing me, and as I've always said, I feel very humbled and blessed to sit around this horseshoe. So I just want to say again my thank you. Thanks certainly to the Deputy Clerk and the CAO and staff for the plentiful orientation sessions. I've been to some of them, and some of them I've learned some new things, and some of them have been really great refreshers. So any kind of knowledge we can get just makes us better counselors and better servants. So thank you for that. There were a couple of meetings where I was still sitting on those committees in between the swearing in and the election. So Investment Advisory Committee is one of the committees that I chair, and we met on the 23rd of October. And for folks, just to let them know that the year-to-date performance was 9.159% versus the balanced income CAD of 8.01. Inflation on that date was still sitting at 1.9%. Which allows us to go above the line with our weight in bonds, which are essentially laddered at this point and will remain that way. The market value is sitting just north of 14 million. The expectation is that we will have another drop in interest rates with the Bank of Canada in the month of December. I was thinking it would be 50 basis points at that juncture, but it's probably looking like 25 because inflation is starting to creep up a little bit again. The second committee was Regional Sewer, and that was on October the 17th, so just a couple of days before the election. We had an ops and compliance update. We went through a regional compliance report. We had a regional force main report and an update, and supplemental budget updates were reviewed at that meeting. And I too am joining some of my colleagues around the Horseshoe and attending the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities for the ensuing few days. And so at the next council meeting, I will have a comprehensive report to deliver. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. So I'll give my report now. I'm going to speak. The last couple of weeks have been a great transition. I've had some great help. The two beside me here, Deputy Clerk and CEO Lawrence, have been great, and the whole staff in the building has been very inviting and very friendly and very helpful, and it's been a great transition. It's a different role, and I'm still learning as I go along, but I've had great teachers in here, and getting my office decorated now so it's not so bland inside. I'm going to speak on a few events. So on November 1st, as mayor-elect, I did attend the pumpkin drop at KCA, and you're going to hear me talk about this every November, because when you see those little kids, and I remember hearing Mayor Snow talk about this every year, but it is amazing to see the faces on those little kids. Now, mind you, 4 of mine were there, but all those kids out there watching the pumpkins come down and the excitement, because and I don't know how many of you have been there before, but they get into all the dynamics of making sure that these pumpkins don't break. So when they drop them, they've got to be secure. And a lot of them do break. But just the excitement of the fall, and they're cheering it on. So that, I could go to that every week. So that was probably my biggest highlight of the month, and probably for the year. The Remembrance Day service, I attended with some of my colleagues here at NECAC, was amazing as well. They work with the Lions Club, or with the Legion, sorry, not the Lions Club. And the kids, some of them did poetry, some of them drew artwork, kind of what Remembrance Day means to them. And some of that artwork was through the roof. It was amazing. The Remembrance Day service actually was held at White's this year. And I have to extend my thanks to the White family, because they came through at the very last second. It was raining out, and some people think it should have been outside, but you know what? Wherever it is, the meaning is there, the message is there, and they came through, and that was a great service. Most of you have mentioned holidays, festivals. That was amazing as well. Every year it gets better and better. Thanks to KBC and the staff here, all of them. You see Lindsay Young running out there at 9 o'clock cleaning up, and it's just, they do an impeccable job. I've had a couple of meetings here at Town Hall with some newcomers that are moving to the area. They're actually going to bring 45 families here to work at Michelin and Eden Valley Poultry, and they're looking for places to live. Lots of meetings with the CEO and Deputy Clerk, and then of course I did all the training that all of you did, and it's always good to retrain, so I'm thankful for that. And that is my report. Should ask if there's any questions anybody wants to ask anybody on council about their report. Anything? Okay, we'll accept those reports into the package. And we'll now move on to new business. So we have the 2025 Council and CAC meeting schedule. Deputy Clerk Jennifer West presented the schedule of meeting for the year 2025. This calendar is reviewed annually in November for the information of council, staff, and residents. So the motion would be that council approve the schedule of council and council advisory committee meetings for 2025. If somebody could move that. Councillor Savage and a seconder. Okay. Councillor Hamilton had you right before, but, all right. So is there any discussion on that? There being none, are you ready for the question? That council approve the schedule of council and council advisory committee meetings for 2025. Voting is now open. Voting is now closed. Motion is passed. I guess we're all going to be here next year. The next item is the appointment of council members to committees and commissions. I personally reviewed the process of appointing members to internal and regional groups, and I have presented you with the list of appointments. The motion would be that council approve the appointments of mayor and council to internal and regional committees from November 2024 to November 2025. If somebody could move that. Councillor Maxwell and a seconder, Councillor Andrew. Is there any discussion on that? Councillor Savage.
Thank you, Mayor. It's just a question, and I probably should know the answer, but I don't recall. Source water protection meets quarterly?
Quarterly.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, and usually right before source,
Water.
yes,
Yeah, okay,
they're right
great.
back to back.
Yep,
yeah.
that's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any, okay, Councillor Baker.
Just to follow up, the appointment to the committees, there is a table that indicates each person who's responsible for it. The document I downloaded, it was blank. That's intentional, I suppose, because of the contact numbers on it?
Everyone's shifting around right now. So
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
As we collect that information and membership shifts on all of those committees, we hope to send out contact information to all of you so that you can reach out to especially the regional committees, because it might be a councillor from another municipality who's the chair.
Do we know of upcoming meetings, such as Councillor Savage attended, that might need more immediate attention?
Once you get appointed,
Yeah.
yeah, once this is approved, then we'll make sure that you get the right information where your committees are and who the
Great.
chairs
Thank
currently
you.
are, and you'll have a schedule and all that stuff. Any other questions? Are you ready for the question? Oh, sorry. Councillor Maxwell.
Thank you. The A's on the chart are alternates, I'm assuming?
Yes, A is
So-
the alternate.
Yeah, okay, so alternates don't have to attend as long as the main person's there.
Right, yeah, so if the main person goes and you've got a little A by your name, that just means if
on
that
call.
person is on A, you're on call.
You're
You're
on
on
call.
standby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? You're back up, right?
I'm back up.
Oh, for sewer. All right. Guess we're ready for the question. That council approve the appointments of mayor and council to internal and regional committees from November 2024 to November 2025. Voting is now open. Voting is now closed. Motion passed. We're now on to correspondence, and we have none this evening, so we'll move on to public comments. Are there any public comments? Come up and state your name. We know who you are, Bunny, but state your name anyway.
Is this out of order as well as the elevator?
You want it higher? I lowered it for you.
I have a big enough voice if you want me to just speak. Thank you, Councillor Baker. I'm Bunny Bennett, 12 Condon Avenue. I just want to make a comment on the presentation by Dillon Consulting, the engineers, that I attended last week. I thought it was extremely well done. I thought the engineer who was the main presenter did an awesome job explaining things. We were given lots of opportunity at the end to ask lots of questions and get good answers. It was suggested that we could send to a certain link photos and videos that we have, and Because we've had 7 floods at Condon, I have so many videos and photos, which I can send, and they can just delete what they don't find helpful, you know? And I guess I would contact Director Bell to find out when that link is available. Anyway, I thought it was most interesting to hear how they actually, you know, the technology and everything they've done so far, and the mapping, the slide presentation I thought was really good and informative. And I think a lot of people came away, at least this was just my feeling anyway, I felt better having gone and found out some more things. And I look forward to when it's completed. Apparently it's half done in February, and I'm hoping that there may be more information forthcoming to Condon Avenue about higher elevation and what might be done to hold water and debris from coming on us. I know what has been done already on Park Street will be a help to us, but we still are hoping that something is going to be done further up so we're not nervous every time we get a rain. So I just want to say that I think it was really well done. And I don't know if they're going to be doing another one, or if they're at the end, or if they're just going to be implementing a report and forwarding it to you. And when we find this out, I don't know, but I'm sure we will. So I just wanted to say that I thought it was well done. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. I enjoyed it myself too. I think people appreciated it because it was just a great opportunity for them to hear from the public and engage with the public, and they'll collect all that data too, and then it'll be part of their final report. Anything you want to add, CEO? Or?
The final report will be presented to council, and in all likelihood, we'll try and have a larger venue than this room, whether that's the fire hall or some other place, but the final report will be presented by the consultants to council.
In a public venue?
Yes.
Oh, great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other, yes?
Could I just clarify that it is Director Bell who would be the contact if someone wants to have their address included in the study?
I would forward them through Director Bell, yes.
Any other public comments? Yeah.
Can I just follow up on what Mrs. Bennett said?
No, we don't, yeah. The chair talks to them, we don't talk to the citizens, yeah. But thank you. You can connect with her later if you want to. Any other public comments? Okay, I guess that concludes our business. We're going to now move into a closed session to discuss a legal matter. We will not be returning to YouTube after this, so if I could take a motion to enter a closed session. Councillor Savage, and seconded by Deputy Mayor Cole. All those in favor signify by raising. Those opposed? Okay. It is 6:37.